Once a year, in the heart of Paris, a fire went up in the town square, and trumpets played. A crowd gathered on purpose, and a basket of live cats was hoisted above the flames and lowered in slowly while everyone cheered. Not a riot, a tradition. Same square, same night, every year, for over 300 years. To understand how a house pet ends up here, you have to go back further. Way further, because for most of human history, two completely different civilizations couldn't agree on one basic question. Was the cat a god, or was it Satan? Start in ancient Egypt. The answer there was obvious. Cats weren't pets. They were sacred. Kill one, even by accident, and you could be put to death for it. When a family cat died, the household shaved off their own eyebrows in mourning and kept mourning until the eyebrows grew back. Egyptologist Salima Ikram helped excavate the proof of just how far this went. Beneath one ancient temple, over 300,000 mummified cats wrapped and buried like royalty, stacked in the dark for 2,000 years. An entire underground city, built for cats. Now move north. Medieval Europe. Same animal. Completely different verdict. In 1233, the Pope declared that cats were living vessels for the devil, not symbols. Actual Satan, walking around on four legs, sitting by your fire, purring. And it got weirder from there. People believed a cat's eyes glowed because they were storing stolen embers of hellfire behind them. They believed witches shape-shifted into cats, swapping back and forth 9 times before getting trapped forever. That's actually where 9 lives comes from. Parents genuinely believed a cat would sneak into a cradle at night and steal the breath out of a sleeping baby's lungs while it slept. Within a generation, owning a black cat wasn't just unusual, it was evidence. And that's not even the strangest part, because Europe didn't stop at suspicion. It built entire courtrooms for this. Historian E.P. Evans dug up the actual case files, and they read like satire until you checked the signatures. Pigs were formally charged with murder. Rats were summoned to court by name 3 separate times, and Wadi's name, and when they didn't show up, the trial continued without them. Locusts were excommunicated by church tribunals. Some of these animal defendants were assigned real lawyers, arguing real motions in front of real judges in cases that ended in real executions. A courtroom for a rat that everyone expected to walk in and take a seat. Cats got the worst of it, though. A pig on trial was just a pig. A cat on trial was a devil wearing fursh, which meant killing it wasn't cruelty. It was justice. In the Belgian town of Ypres, that belief became a festival. Every year, officials climbed the town's bell tower and threw live cats off the top straight down into the crowd below watching. This isn't legend. It's in the town records. And it didn't stop in some distant medieval century. It kept happening on and off until 1817. Sit with that. Napoleon had already been exiled, and a European town was still throwing cats off a tower as an annual event. Here's the part that might be even stranger. Ypres never fully let it go. Since the 1930s, the town has held the exact same ceremony every 3 years. A procession up the same bell tower, a toss from the same window, in front of thousands of people. Except now the cats are stuffed. Plush toys sewn specifically to be hurled off a medieval belfry as an apology to every real cat that never got one. So who lit that fire in Paris? The crown did. Specifically, a boy named Louis XIV, the future Sun King, a ruler so obsessed with spectacle that he once performed a public ballet dressed as the actual sun and required nobles to compete for the honor of watching him get dressed each morning. He lit the cat bonfire himself as a child, years before he ever wore a crown. For a monarchy addicted to ceremony, a basket of burning devils wasn't superstition getting out of hand. It was one more show. Because here's the twist. The cats were never the real threat. They were the release valve. 100 years later, in a Paris print shop, historian Robert Darnton uncovered the strangest sequel of all, A group of underpaid apprentices decided their bosses cared more about their pet cats than about them. So the apprentices staged their own mock trial, sentenced the cats to death for witchcraft, and killed them in a full theatrical ritual, complete with a fake priest giving last rites. They weren't punished, they were celebrated, and they reenacted the whole thing for weeks afterward, never realizing their bosses were the actual target. A god 1 century, the devil the next, a courtroom defendant after that, a stand-in for a boss the workers couldn't touch after that. The animal never changed. Only what people needed it to mean did. And if you think that instinct disappeared along with the bonfires, watch how fast people today still reach for something small and safe to blame. The second something bigger goes wrong, the costume changes, the instinct doesn't, even the apology 3 centuries later still looks a lot like the crime, just with the volume turned down and the victim made of stuffing instead of fur.